Happy Easter! Easter is one of my favorite times of year because deviled eggs are one of my favorite foods, and I only eat them during Easter time. Did you get to eat a favorite food this Easter? Well, I hope you did, or that you do soon. Eastertide lasts 50 days, so you will have plenty of time to celebrate. And our at-home devotional bag for Easter time will keep bringing you back to the good news of Easter. Christ has risen! Do you know what to say in response? That's right, he has risen indeed. And this week, you are invited to make some Easter celebration bells. Ring them at least one time each day this week and say as loud as you can, Christ has risen! Whoever hears the bell will respond, he has risen indeed. This is very exciting news. And in our Bible story today, we will hear about the first people who ever heard that news and who discovered that Jesus had risen from the dead. The story is called Women at the Tomb, and it's on page 276 in your Growing in God's Love Story Bible. Let's get ready to hear the story by lighting our candle and singing our special song. Sing with me. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Women at the Tomb. It's based on Luke 24, 1 through 12. Dying is a part of the life cycle. Think about a plant, any plant, which begins as a seed. First is birth, the sprouting of the seed. Next is growth, the unfurling of the stem and leaves. And the plant lives and soaks up sunshine and rainwater. Then the plant dries up and dies. But the life cycle, the story of the plant is not over. New seeds grow in what's left from the old plant. And the story was not over for Jesus when he died either. Jesus had been dead for more than a day. Early on the morning of the third day, Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and other women who loved Jesus, went to the tomb where he had been taken. They walked sadly and quietly, carrying sweet-smelling spices to place on his body. When they got to the tomb, they were surprised. The stone was rolled away from the cave opening. They looked in, but Jesus was not there. The women were confused and scared. Who had moved the body? Suddenly, two men in shiny white clothes stood next to them. Afraid, the women turned away, and the men said, "This is where the dead are kept. Jesus is not here. He has been raised to life. Remember what he said when you were with him in Galilee? He said that the one sent from God will be taken by those who don't believe in him. This one will be killed, but on the third day, this one from God will rise to life again." The women remembered that Jesus had told them these things, and they ran back to the disciples, eager to tell them the good news. Here's a picture of them running back. "Jesus is alive!" shouted the women. But the disciples didn't believe Mary of Magdala. They didn't believe Joanna. And they didn't believe Mary, the mother of James. They didn't believe any of the women. But Peter wasn't sure. He ran to the tomb, and when he got there, he looked inside. This time the two men in the shining white clothes weren't there. Peter saw only the cloth that covered Jesus, but no body. He walked away, wondering if it could be true. Could Jesus really be alive? When the women heard the good news that Jesus was alive, I wonder what that felt like. I wonder what it sounded like when they realized Jesus was alive. I bet it was really loud. When Alistair and Ivor get excited, it is really loud. Can you proclaim the good news about Jesus? How would you act? What would you say? You know, Easter isn't just my favorite time of year because of the deviled eggs. That's a really good part of Easter. It also reminds me that no matter how bad things are, I can have a really exciting and a really surprising and maybe even a little bit foolish hope that no matter what, God will do good, loving, life-giving things in the world. Even though Jesus died on the cross, God brought him back to life. Alleluia! Christ has risen. Bye, families. I'll see you next week.